It was a stormy night. Rain poured steadily and the streets were silent, empty. Under the dim glow of a flickering street lamp sat a barefoot boy, no older than 10. He was soaked, shivering, his arms wrapped tightly around his knees. His eyes stared blankly ahead, lost, afraid, forgotten by the world. Down the same street walked a humble black pastor named Elijah Moore. He had just finished a late-night prayer vigil and was heading back to his modest little church. He had walked this road 1,000 times, but tonight something was different. Something in his spirit told him to stop. He looked again. And there, sitting quietly in the rain, was the boy. Elijah dropped his umbrella and rushed over. "Son, what's your name?" The boy didn't answer. His lips were turning purple from the cold. Without hesitation, Elijah took off his coat, wrapped it around the boy, and gently lifted him into his arms. He carried him 5 blocks through the rain, straight to his church. There, in a back room barely big enough for a cot, Elijah laid him down. He made soup, cleaned his wounds, and sat beside him all night, whispering prayers and softly humming old hymns. The boy didn't speak for 3 days, not a word. On the 3rd day, Elijah handed him a small Bible. "You don't have to believe in this," he said, "but just know someone still believes in you." The boy looked up, and for the first time, tears fell down his cheeks. His name was Malik. He had run from a home filled with pain, a mother lost in addiction, a father who vanished long ago. He had been surviving on scraps, sleeping in abandoned buses, and stealing bread from gas stations just to stay alive. Elijah gave him more than food and shelter. He gave him dignity. He taught him to read, helped him tie his first tie, stood by him as he nervously walked into his first day of school. People questioned him. Why risk everything for a street kid? But Elijah would always smile and say, "If we don't lift the broken, how can we ever be whole?" Years passed. Malik grew into a strong, smart, kind young man. He played piano in church, helped clean the pews, and made the old place feel alive again. Then at 18, he left for college. Elijah helped him get a scholarship, packed his bag, hugged him tightly, and whispered, "You owe me nothing, just live well." Malik promised to write, promised to come back. But life moved fast, and time moved faster. Years passed. No letters, no calls. Elijah prayed and waited. The church grew quieter. Donations stopped coming. The roof began to leak. Some Sundays, only 5 people showed up. Then one day, the city sold the property. The locks were changed. And Elijah, now in his late 60s, was left without a home. He ended up in a shelter, quiet, alone, forgotten. Until one day, a black car pulled up outside. A man stepped out, tall, confident, wearing a sharp suit. He walked into the shelter, eyes scanning the room, and when he saw the old pastor sitting by the wall, "Pastor Moore," he said softly. Elijah looked up, and for a moment, didn't recognize him. But then, the voice, the eyes, it was Malik. Tears welled in his eyes as he knelt down in front of the man who once saved him. "I've been searching for you. You gave me everything when you had nothing. And now I'm here to give it all back." Malik had become a tech CEO, built a company, made millions. But none of it mattered until he found the man who had once given him hope. He bought back the church, rebuilt it bigger and stronger, named it the Elijah Moore Center for Hope. He built homes for struggling families, started scholarships under Elijah's name, and gave his old mentor a life of peace, comfort, and honor. But most importantly, he gave him something the world had taken away. He gave him back his purpose. You see, Elijah saved one boy, and that boy came back to save hundreds. Because sometimes, one act of kindness becomes the spark that lights 1,000 lives. One coat, one meal, one prayer, and everything changes. So if you're ever wondering whether love matters, whether kindness is worth it, remember this story, because the ones we lift up may one day come back to carry us home.